Hi, welcome to Business Forward. This is Travis Markwood with the Lancaster-Fairfield County Chamber of Commerce, and today we have with us Cenell Bach. She's with Wellness with Cenell. Cenell, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, excellent. We're going to talk to her about her business and what she does, but we're also going to do a demonstration a little later in the show. But to start off, you have quite an extensive experience in sports medicine and rehab, physical therapy, those types of occupations.
Yeah.
Give us a little background on how you got started in your education.
Sure. Thanks so much, Travis.
Uh-huh.
So my background it involves, like you said, athletic training. My undergraduate degree is in sports medicine or athletic training, and then my master's degree is in exercise physiology. And then I've also worked on a few PhDs. I worked on one in public health, one in exercise science, and I'm completing my PhD in health sciences.
Okay.
And so these educational backgrounds have allowed me to be able to work with individuals from the general public and health and wellness and fitness to individuals who are injured or dealing with things such as arthritis or back pain, muscle pain, and joint pain.
Okay, well, interesting. So you've just taken a few classes to get to where you're at today, right?
Exactly. Just a few.
Yeah, that's quite an extensive background. Now, tell me about your work experience then. So all the education you have, but you've had some pretty unique careers in sports medicine as well, right?
Exactly. So I've worked as a professor for about 13 years at University of Mount Union, and that's in Alliance, Ohio, small liberal arts institution. So I worked there teaching exercise science, athletic training, and a couple public health courses. And then after that, I decided to actually start a nonprofit. And from there, I decided to start a for-profit. And so my nonprofit is really more on health promotion, and my for-profit deals more so with the clinical aspect of doing muscle treatment. I practice a treatment called muscle activation.
Okay.
And muscle activation helps to improve muscle health.
Okay, and this is what we're going to demonstrate a little later?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Now, your clients range from anywhere from someone who's trying to rehab from like a workplace injury to major athletes, right?
Right, exactly. I've had the fortune of working with both your NFL athletes as well as some Major League Baseball players. So anywhere from the professional athletes all the way down to pediatrics in sports. And so it's been a great technique to help not only your athletes but the general population, individuals who are maybe suffering from arthritis or bursitis or rotator cuff strain or a low back injury. It actually helps individuals across the spectrum, from the general population to your major league athletes.
Okay,
So.
Interesting. And now, so you have your business, but you also teach at Ohio University Lancaster here in Lancaster,
I
correct?
do, yeah. I'm
Okay.
excited to be a part of Ohio University, the Lancaster branch. I teach an intro to sports medicine course, and I also teach healthy lifestyles. And these are two courses that individuals who are looking to go into athletic training or sports medicine, this is kind of an introductory course for those individuals. And the healthy lifestyles course is one of my favorites. It really looks at how do we engage in a healthy lifestyle throughout our adulthood. And so it's an introductory course for students to learn how to not only exercise and eat properly, but also to take on things such as mindfulness, meditation, and to help reduce their level of stress. Because for college students specifically, stress is one of the main things that's of concern for that population too. So
Sure.
this course helps them to deal with that. So.
Excellent.
Yeah.
How are you seeing a lot of interest in the schools with people going into the fields of sports medicine and athletic training?
It varies. Sports medicine is really an umbrella term, and so there's a lot of different aspects to the discipline of sports medicine. There's the injury prevention and injury recognition and treatment side of sports medicine, which is where athletic training falls. But there's also the fitness and health and wellness side of sports medicine, and that's where my degree in exercise physiology, individuals who may become personal trainers, individuals who are just interested in becoming healthier, maybe go into bodybuilding, that end of the spectrum. So sports medicine is really an umbrella term, and it involves a lot of different aspects. So individuals can go into sports medicine if they want to go into athletic training again, or they can go into sports medicine if they're going to go into more of an allied health field. They may go into nursing, branching off into nursing. They may go into physical therapy, and they may even go into becoming a medical doctor. So it's kind of an umbrella term.
Okay, interesting. Now, speaking a little bit about your patients that you work on, are there certain injuries that you see more of, either in the workplace or athletic injuries? What are the most common types?
I think it does depend on the actual environment. For individuals in an athletic environment, we see the whole spectrum with regards to injuries. I mean, we see everything from ankle sprains, your rotator cuff tears. People may say, use a term that kind of blew out their knee, so an ACL,
Right.
Reconstruction surgery. They've kind of torn their ACL, or which is the anterior cruciate ligament in the knee that kind of helps keep the knee together. And so we see a lot of different injuries with regards to sports, but the general population, one of the more common injuries in the general population has to do with the workplace.
Right.
And so low back strain and low back pain is one of the more common because of injury in the workplace. And so it also impacts productivity in the workplace. And so that's something that we want to make sure that we address from a musculoskeletal standpoint.
Right.
So.
And those type of workplace injuries, we've had speakers come into our safety council through the Chamber of Commerce and talk about workplace injuries, and it can be from heavy lifting, but it can also be from just poor ergonomics, sitting at your desk the wrong way.
Exactly. And so that's one of the things I've been really fortunate in helping my clients to see as I work with them through providing their muscle health and muscle treatment. I also give them homework. And so part of that homework is looking at how do we readjust your workplace, or how do we make your body a little bit stronger and more stable so that you're able to perform those workplace activities even more functional. Yeah.
Right, and I agree. Part of it is maintenance. So, just maintaining some flexibility and some muscle strength. I know I at one point was having some knee trouble. Went and got some physical therapy, and they said, well, part of your knee trouble is that your hips aren't as strong as what they used to be. And I had no idea. You just don't think of that, and so they gave me exercises to work on those.
Exactly, and that's a key point there, is that our bodies are a constrained system. So even though it's your knee, your hip is going to impact your knee, your ankle is going to impact your knee. So we really do need to address the body as a whole. It's a synergistic system. That means everything's working together.
Right.
And so I look to do that as part of my treatment.
Sure, excellent. Now I know here in a little bit we're going to show some demonstrations, but so what does somebody go through with the process of meeting you for the first time? They've had an ankle sprain, or how do they end up in your shop?
Well, that's a great question. I have individuals who've had injuries, but I also have individuals who are just trying to feel better. So my clientele really does, it goes through the whole spectrum. For example, one of my clients had a knee injury. They had gone through a surgery, and they were trying to recover after that surgery. And so we were looking at creating a better functional hip, knee, as well as ankle.
Okay.
In addition, I have had individuals who have had maybe arthritis, and they just want to be able to feel better, particularly as they're aging. They want to have not only the longevity, but an improved quality of life. And so this treatment looks to actually help them feel better as they migrate through that aging process.
Okay, interesting. And then on average, once someone comes to see you, I'm sure it varies with the type of injury or why they're there, but how many times or how often are you seeing your patients?
Usually it depends on the severity. Oh, and so you asked the question of what does that first consultation look like?
Right.
Good question. So usually when they come in, I do a full evaluation of their body. I look at every single joint, from your neck to your shoulder, hip, all the way down to your toes. And I look at range of motion, I look at your muscle. I do muscle testing, look at the efficiency of your muscle, and then I take that data and I actually formulate a treatment plan for you.
Okay.
So it's customized for you.
Right. So then that would determine how many times you need to be seen.
Yes.
How what your homework looks like.
Exactly.
And all those
Exactly.
things.
So the severity of that evaluation gives me information, and that severity dictates how many times I need to see you. Usually it's once a week for a couple weeks, and then we start to spread those treatments out.
Okay, excellent. Now we're getting ready to go do some demonstration on the table that you brought in.
Yeah.
What types of things are we going to see here in just a moment?
So our model has had some history of knee pain and knee surgery, and so I'm actually going to show you how the muscle treatment can help with not only the knee, but also the hip, as well as the ankle and lower body.
Okay.
And even some things that we can do up in the shoulders that'll impact the hip and the knee. So.
Perfect. Okay. Well, without further ado, let's make our way over to the table and take a look at our patient.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks.
At Dagger Law, we have more than 110 years of combined expertise in nearly every part of law.
What I think sets us apart from any other law firm is our ability to work together.
With us, you're getting a trusted partner, in addition to a team who can help you with a growing business, changing family, planning your future, or dealing with land issues.
It's a challenge every day, and you meet an awful lot of nice people.
Your case matters. We'll take the time and the energy to ensure that you have a quality experience, quality representation.
Whatever you need, we have a lawyer who can help. Dagger Law. Local, trusted, experienced.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Hi, welcome to the Young Professional segment of Business Forward. This is brought to you by Crowd Communication, and we're here in the actual Chamber of Commerce offices, where the offices of Destination Downtown are also located. And I happen to have Colin Hedicoat with me today, and you're the program coordinator. You're a local guy. You went to school here, and you're going to school here, right?
That's right. So I went to Lancaster High School, and it's really cool because during that time, I was a volunteer for DDL. So I got to know a little bit about the organization before I actually worked for it. And I still go to college. I go to Ohio Christian University. I live in Lancaster, born and raised in Lancaster. I love Lancaster. It's a special place for me. So
good. So you recently took the job with DDL, and tell me a little bit about what your responsibilities are with Destination Downtown.
Well, I focus mostly on our programs. So my job is to bring people downtown and create cool events for them to go to. One of our biggest ones coming up is the Art Walk.
Sure.
So that's super exciting. But I also focus on marketing and working with all the businesses in our district to make sure that we get the word out about their specials that they may be having, posting things on social media, just really putting a spotlight on those businesses.
Excellent. Well, I know you spend an awful lot of time downtown making things happen, and you put in a lot of hours with all the events that are happening. But what do you like to do on the weekends when you get a little bit of free time?
Well, I do like to spend my free time downtown, even when I'm not working. But I enjoy DJing. I'm a DJ.
Okay.
So I go to weddings and stuff on the weekends and do that. I enjoy camping, going to concerts. I just went to country concert, and that was really cool.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, listen, it's been great having you on the show. Keep up the good work. Enjoy working across the hall from you.
Thank you so much.
All right, folks, that's been the Young Professionals segment here on Business Forward, and thanks to Crowd Communications for sponsoring that. Until next time.
As a company of young professionals, Crowd Communications is proud to sponsor this segment. We specialize in helping businesses and organizations get the right message to the right audience, at the right time, and in the right way. To learn more about Crowd Communications and how they can help you with your communication needs, visit them at cryocommunications.com.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Welcome to the high school football game of the week. I'm Jaron Stewart alongside Tim Shoemaker. Tonight, we've got a great one for you. The Blue Carroll Bulldogs.
It was a great week of practice. Even in the rain and the weather, we had a great week of practice.
Schneider, lots of running room to midfield. He's gone. Ryan Schneider down the near sideline for a touchdown for the Aces.
We have a hold on the offense, number 20,
That penalty will be declined. They'll bring up fourth down.
We're going to give you this game ball here because you're a Tiberios fan of the game. And thanks for being here, Jacob.
Thank you. The Polar Bears are your OAC tournament champions, first time since 2009. What an exciting finish for the Ohio Northern Polar Bears.
Very proud of this trophy because you've earned it.
Welcome back to Business Forward. Again, we're here with Cenell Bach, Wellness with Cenell, and we've included our patient in this segment. And Cenell, tell us a little bit about the symptoms that our patient here is experiencing.
Sure. So this particular client had a knee surgery. She had a meniscus tear, and so she has recovered from that meniscus tear. And so now we want to make sure the integrity of her muscle and musculoskeletal system is still intact. So part of the evaluation would involve looking at her range of motion of not only just the knee, but also the ankle, the knee, and the hip. And so we start there to kind of see what her range of motion is like, and then we do some isometric testing to see what her muscle test is like, to kind of get a good data to be able to provide the treatment.
Okay. So are you going to go through basically what an initial assessment would look like here, and then?
So right now I'm just going to do, because of, we're limited on time, I won't do a full assessment, but what I'll actually do is a little bit of what that initial evaluation would entail. Okay. So I'm going to look at her ankle and do a little bit of an ankle range of motion test, just kind of looking at what's called dorsiflexion and plantar flexion, kind of the ankle kind of coming up and down. She has pretty good range of motion there. And then I'm also going to look at the ability of the ankle to kind of come in and out. She's kind of assisting me a little bit, but that gives me good information at what her range of motion in the ankle is like, because if things are locked in the ankle, that's going to impact the knee. And a lot of times we do this type of testing before an injury or before an incident, because now we can look at the integrity of, again, the muscle as well as the joint to help prevent injury, and that's really important. But this is kind of retrospective. We're looking at how can we maintain her integrity now that she's had the surgery. She's doing really well. We want to make sure that she has good quality of life here after the surgery. And so we've looked at the ankle, and then we move into the knee.
Okay.
So now we're going to kind of bring her up. This is the involved side. Again, this knee, there was a meniscus tear here, and she, and so was it medial meniscus, or do you remember if it's on the inside or outside?
Both.
Oh, okay, so a bilateral meniscus tear. And so right now we're just going to bring her into a little bit of flexion. Her knee, so knee is flexed, and then the ankle is flexed just a little bit here. And then I'm going to bring her back into extension. And again, this just provides me information if there's pain, any discomfort at all. I note that, and then we develop a treatment protocol based off of her body. Some individuals, she has really good knee flexion to 90 degrees. We can take her down just a little bit. Go ahead and relax down. How are you here? Okay, good. So she's able to get to from 90 all the way down to 45 degrees and still feels really good. So that's good data there too. And then I look at what's called tibial rotation, kind of rotating the tibia, this long bone here, the shin bone, kind of in and out, just to see how she's doing there. And then lastly, I go from the ankle to the knee down to her hip. And so I'm going to have her just relax a little bit. I'm going to come out this way. She's a little tight in her hip. And so that gives me information. Then we're going to come this way, coming this direction, really good, not bad at all. But when we come the opposite direction, a little bit of tightness there. So again, that's just good data. Go ahead and relax down, all the way down, good. And so that would help me to develop a treatment plan for her. Again, the knee injury was what may have brought her in, but I also noted that there's some things going on with her hip, kind of what Travis had talked about earlier. And so this treatment is a little bit more of an advanced therapy in that we actually look to treat each muscle, individual muscles of her hip. And then we go into not only the hip, but the thigh and the lower leg and the foot as well. And so it's a tedious and complex treatment. It's called muscle activation, because we actually look to activate the muscles in the hip, as well as the thigh, as well as the lower leg. And even go down into the little muscles in the feet. These are called the intrinsic muscles that are in between the toes. and I look to activate the smaller muscles in between the toes. And believe it or not, those muscles are really important to having good foot arch support, as well as helping to provide good integrity for the foot. And that helps to support the knee, which helps to support the hip. So everything really does work together as a synergistic system. Everything works, it's a constrained system, meaning everything affects everything else. And then for this client, I'd actually go up into her shoulder, and I look at range of motion in the shoulder. So we're going to do a little bit of range of motion testing here, where I just have her come back nice and relaxed. Good. And kind of see what her ability is with regards to shoulder flexion. And then we come all the way out into abduction and see how she feels there. And if she has any discomfort, she could let me know. And then coming all the way back down. And so just a little bit of tightness I noted with her shoulder flexion as she went to the end range, coming all the way back. And so I'd also want to work on her shoulder, because the shoulder muscles do come into the spinal column. My friends in chiropractic medicine tend to work more so with the spinal column. And this technique is, again, muscle activation, whereas I'm activating the muscle. And so this technique really emphasizing activating the musculoskeletal system. And so by activating the muscle, it provides more stability for the body, and now it actually improves her range of motion. And guess what? That also impacts the joint, because muscles come in and insert into the joint. So muscles from her knee, they go from the knee up into the hip. They may start in the hip and come down and convert into the knee. So the origin may be the hip, the insertion point is the knee. And because that muscle is being attached from one bone to the next bone, it's important that the integrity and stability of the muscle is there to help support the joint. So this muscle activation technique is not only important for the muscle, but it's also important for the joint.
Very interesting. So, I couldn't help but think when you were checking out, her toes and things. Do you also look at the way people walk and what their gait is, and whether they pronate or those types of things? I'm sure that's part of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly a part of the evaluation. When individuals come in, again, I look at range of motion and muscle testing, but I also do a balance test. I do a gait analysis, and it's all depending on the severity of the individual. Some people may come in, some clients, depending on their mobility level. Some individuals come in with a cane, and so I automatically know that there's going to be some assistance needed, and it may not do as an extensive gait analysis for those clients. Maybe some clients come in and they're athletes, and so they need to make sure that their balance and agility, those things are important for their performance. So I can engage in more of a balance test and agility test, as well as a gait analysis. So, yeah.
For our athletes, do you recommend certain exercises based on, the actual motions that they're doing? I think of my daughter's in volleyball, so, shoulder strength is very important when it comes to serving and hitting.
Right. And I actually have a volleyball, and I've had some basketball clients as well. And so I do tend to, some of their homework may be more sports specific, and I also work with their health professionals. So they may have an athletic trainer at their high school that may contact me as a follow-up to be able to help work, again, as a team, as part of their sports medicine team, so that athlete can perform at their optimal level and be able to get back on the court or back on the field. So, so yes, I do. I recommend sports-specific activities, as well as I usually will recommend something that's more full body, because an injury in the shoulder, something in the low back may actually affect the shoulder.
Okay.
And so all of those things are important.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. So now, do physicians and orthopedics folks that refer patients to you then?
Yes, actually a lot of my clients are physicians, health professionals,
sure,
and they really understand the importance of the integrity of the musculoskeletal system. And so this is an advanced rehabilitation or advanced exercise rehabilitation. And so a lot of my clients are dentists, doctors, radiologists, health professionals, and they can explain the technique because it is so new. A lot of individuals aren't aware of it, and it is a private practice. And so a lot of my clients can explain to their patients the innovativeness of this technique and how beneficial it is for their clients or patients.
Sure.
So,
Excellent.
yeah.
Well, our patient has been very patient as she's been here on the show. But, if folks want to learn a little bit more about you as we kind of wind down this segment, how do they get in touch with you? Where do they learn more about your services?
Sure. So again, my business is Wellness with Cenell, and they're welcome to actually contact me directly through my cell phone number. It's 330-904-5269. Again, that's 330-904-5269.
Excellent. And of course, if you didn't get Cenell's contact information, you can contact us at the Chamber of Commerce, 740-653-8251, or check out our website at lancoc.org and do a member search, and you'll find Cenell there. Cenell, it's been great having you on the show.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. All right. That's the end of our show here today. Again, this has been a production in partnership with Interphase Video and the Chamber of Commerce, and we'll see you next time on Business Forward.